the camera. Ed, start with you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Ed Macias with Engaging Media Marketing. We are your one-stop shop. Do photos to video, down to your floor plans. Just recently added the social media management and marketing aspect. That's pretty much the gist of what I do. Anything with the camera, my team can get you taken care of.
Awesome. And how long have you guys been doing that?
I'm going on my 10th year this year.
Wow. Very
impressive.
Cool. Christian?
Hey guys, I'm Christian Manzer. I have been a realtor and entrepreneur for a while. I've been in real estate for, I'm starting my 4th year. I'm in my 4th year now. And I spend a lot of my time helping individuals, helping businesses and brands help market themselves and grow their identity. And I've been doing that for several years now, about 7 or 8 years. So I try to keep myself well-rounded, but I am a realtor. So I'm here with Venturi Realty Group, as well as Tracy.
Awesome. Hopefully everyone knows me. Nick Purdy, Fidelity National Title, Sales and Marketing, yada, 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 but this isn't about me. Tracy.
Tracy Venturi, Venturi Realty Group, been doing real estate for 21 years. But I mean, you think about all the things we do in marketing. And Christian, I'm so glad you're here because you're awesome with your marketing and design skills and how you've helped people. So happy to be here.
Pete?
Pete Stagl with Server 360. I'm on the YPN committee as well. We do photos, floor plans, virtual tours, video, the whole 9 yards, all your real estate marketing needs. We've been doing this for 6 or so years, but I'm a serial entrepreneur, so I've been doing marketing for the last 20.
Serial entrepreneur. I love it.
Probably all of us could say that, right?
For real.
Pete just said it first.
It's patented, right? We got to pay you a couple pennies every time.
Everyone add it to your signatures.
Well, awesome. I think we have a really great crowd today. I think we're going to go over a lot of interesting topics. Firstly, I kind of wanted to just throw this out there for everyone. Whenever we're targeting a new campaign or anything along those lines, how would we analyze our target market when we're wanting to develop something like that? And if I'm being too confusing and if I need to explain more, please ask me, let me know, because I know I'm very confusing and cryptic. Pete, we're going to start with you, sir. And how do you analyze the target market for a real estate business?
So I always encourage our clients to figure out who they want to market to and what kind of listings they want to have, what kind of buyers they want to work with, and then focus their marketing efforts on that type of person, whether they're looking for more listings or more buyers. Not everybody wants to work with a luxury buyer. Some people like working with first-time home buyers. Some people like working with distressed sellers. Some people like working with the very different people that are out there. But the first step is to figure out who you want to work with so that all of the marketing messages you put out there are for that demographic.
Very, very wise. Very astute. Well said. Tracy, anything to add on to that?
I'd say from the real estate community, there are so many ways to market yourself. And if you spread yourself too thin, it's probably not effective. Like we just heard, I think you really need to focus and decide what you're good at, what you love to do, what area of town you love to work, what price point, and focus on that and do that really, really well. Don't try to do everything as a realtor. And when we're new especially, we get all these people trying to get our business and telling us about all these ways we can market and spend money. You don't need to do that. Just focus and pick your target and go for it.
Well said as well. Anything from this side?
I love that. It's 100% true. We get so distracted on trying to do everything, and it's important to find where you see yourself. One of the coaches that I was working with years ago mentioned, how do you identify yourself? Do you identify yourself as, like you said, there's luxury brokers, there's first-time home buyers, there's VA and military buyers and sellers out there, and focus all of your energy into that direction. Now, it's hard when you're new just because not all of us have a lot of business right away, so you might have to be a little more broad and diverse. But when you're looking at putting your business or bringing your business, taking it to the next level, finding a good direction and seeing what works and seeing what's bringing results. It's a lot of trial and error and a lot of figuring out, this marketing and this message for the last couple of years has resulted in this many transactions, so I need to focus my energy into that and learning about
That's
what
so
works.
true. I just have to say, like when you're new, you sometimes do the shotgun effect, right? You have to, because you're not even sure what you love or what you know or what you're good at. And then once it's like clear to you, you kind of focus in. But then you have to be committed to it, right? You can't just do this and then try that and try that. You have to do it for the long haul, because it takes time for that to happen sometimes.
And to add to what Christian said, I 100% agree. Consistency is key to me for marketing. I had spread myself thin at the very beginning, trying everything out aside from real estate, and quickly realized that real estate is really where I want to be, is meeting great people, good souls. And you said energy, so you hit it on energy. I'm an energy person. If our energies work well, then we'll continue to do well. So not spreading yourself too thin and knowing your market, exactly how Pete said.
I love that. And one more thing, when you're looking at like long term in our business, if you get somebody under contract right now, you're not going to see those dollars for sometimes a month. So when you're putting energy out and time marketing and putting a message out there, you have to plan for staying consistent for a year, for 2 years, for a long time, because that's we're in the business of not today but tomorrow.
Man, I'm surrounded by a lot of smart people, and I'm feeling dumb.
He's not that dumb. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
He's pretty
Well, I'm going to
smart.
add to what you said while you
Oh,
think about
no.
what to say smart. Okay. So you think about in the real estate community, right? We're all in it, but the realtors, we have this whole thing where we can have, if we get busy with somebody and we don't keep doing our marketing and what we know will bring us business, then we end up without anything, right? So we have to keep it going to keep it consistent. Because if we get busy with a buyer or seller and we forget to keep doing our reach outs or our marketing or whatever we're doing to make sure the business comes, then we have nothing once we close that one deal,
Absolutely.
right? So the consistency is exceptionally important.
Now I'm going to ask a really tough question for everyone, and no one's going to like what I have to say. So we've been talking about, you do need to be active. You do need to be marketing yourself and advertising yourself out there on all these platforms that are available for realtors to get their names out there. You guys kind of have an idea of where I'm going. What advertising platforms has everyone found to be the most effective for real estate listings? And you cannot say an accumulation of several different things. We're going to break it down to brass tacks, and you just have to pick one, okay?
For listings.
For listings, yes. For real
To
estate
be able
listings.
to represent sellers to list their homes for sale.
If you had to dumb it down to one thing, if you only had one strategy, what would it be?
The best business is past clients in my book, right? They already know us, love us. We keep in touch with them and they recommend us to people. The best source is somebody saying somebody else saying, hey, these people are great and you need to call them, because we don't have to then compete for the business, right? They already call and we're pre-reference checked, basically.
Right, they're trusting someone. So referrals would essentially be brass tacks.
Yeah.
Pete, you have all of these amazing tools and resources at your fingertips, being that you have your own marketing business. If you had to throw all of them away but one, what would it be?
It'd be your sphere. The
Okay.
people who already know, like, and trust you.
So kind of like referrals as well?
Kind of, but it's the step before that. It's the people who've already have that relationship with you.
Okay.
I love that. And it's funny because those of you that are watching or listening are kind of seeing the common denominator already, and it's people. So I definitely agree with those. Referrals and Sphere is definitely the one tool I would keep as best as I can, just because people buy people, and you want to make sure that everybody in your circle knows who you are. Yes, you could do all of the ads on Google, all of the ads on Facebook you want, but nobody is going to make that decision until they know you and they know who you are. So say you buy those ads, you're still going to have to sell yourself to them. And so if your community has already sold you and they already know, oh, that's Christian and he's a realtor, I'm going to use him because I know him, I know his work ethic, I know his experiences. That's golden. So I would say referrals as well.
Yeah, and I'm gonna add to that same thing is word of mouth referrals is huge in this business. You go with who you trust, and if you don't trust that individual, that they're they're going into someone's home. So building trust is huge. That's how I built my business, is word of mouth. I've been blessed enough to not have to put a lot of money into ads. I still do here and there to get it out to a broader audience. Aside from just local, I want to get different eyes and add value into what me and Pete do for real estate photography, is showing photographers the value that they need to be bringing to each broker or to a brokerage. So word of mouth referrals is huge.
All right. You've heard it here first, folks. Word of mouth and referrals. We love to hear it. And you're at SOI. So these are all great marketing strategies to utilize and to think about. You do want to leave people with a referral, or asking them for referrals, so that way you can get that future business from them, because nothing's more trustworthy than their best friend or their family member.
Can I interject real quick?
Maybe I lied right there. We'll find out.
No, I was going to say the thing that I think is missing is the word. So I don't call them a referral. If I'm going to ask people to give me a recommendation, it's a testimonial. It's not a referral. Testimonial is build me up. When I ask somebody after a closing to get on Google or somewhere, and I don't tell them to give me a review, because that's like American Idol. I'm going to review you and pick everything apart. I'm going to ask them for a testimonial, which is build me up. So I would like to see the whole community change it to be testimonial, not review.
I like it.
Just a thought.
Word of the day.
Right?
Testimonial.
Well,
The mind shift of the day.
Right.
Yep.
Well, speaking to that, then, we have these word of mouth testimonials. What are some other emerging technologies in our industry that we're finding success with? Whether that be, anything from social media to new potential websites to assist with marketing, or what's out there?
Social media is huge. As we know, everyone is on their phones every second of the day. I've tried to shy brokers away, is don't pour so much money into your bus stops and billboards and all this fun marketing that we all want to do, but is it really effective? To me, I feel like all the eyes right now, and of course, new home buyers right now are looking on their phones. Even my grandma's always on her phone looking at houses all the time. So social media is huge. That's where I'm gearing my company to, is to promoting more on social media, hence engaging media. We want to engage the consumer into the content that we're putting out. So social media would be the biggest for me, I would say.
I think that's 100% where this industry is going. In my previous few years of helping other realtors with their marketing, I have been trying to split. Everybody knows what farming is, and farming their community, whatever. I have been trying to push a new thing called social farming, which is the same thing but on social media, a little bit different. And I think it's important. Even though we say use social media, I think a little bit more specific is be you on social media. We see a lot of, I'm not going to name any names, but there's a lot of big companies pouring a lot of money into social media. And that's kind of new, because traditional farming, there hasn't been many large companies trying to fight that business. Like there's a few mailer companies out there that try to recruit. There's a few sign companies that try to gain business, but online, there's a lot of companies dedicated just towards gaining that business from social media. So I try to push, be you. Don't try to be anybody else. Don't try to be any false identity, false company. Sell yourself. Just like we talked about earlier, what's the most powerful single tool is testimonials and your sphere. Do that, but on social media, and gain those people that way, gain that trust, There's a lot of individual resources out there. Like everybody knows Canva and Photoshop and a lot of stuff like that, video editing, photo editing. But as long as you're being you can use any of those to help supplement, help build that. But that's what I say. Be you on social media just like you are in person.
And to add to that is don't get lost in the imposter syndrome, because that is what social media tends to do with everyone. Especially I see in realtors, right? I've been seeing a post go on of what every realtor does, and same thing goes with any other business, right? There's a lot of other businesses that have a lot of things behind the scenes that we don't know about. So social media you can get lost. Don't get lost in the imposter syndrome.
We've all seen Selling Sunset, and I love it, but that's not the real thing.
Not real at all. I used to have an agent in our office that was in the New York City office when they were doing New York, and she was called in all the time to the boardroom, right, for background to go, oh, and she said, yeah, every line was scripted, which we all know, but yeah. You guys already covered it. I think it's, not new. Social media is not new. My only advice is just do it. It doesn't have to be a perfect hair day, a perfect makeup day, perfect outfit, perfect weather, setting, whatever. Just do it and be you. And, nobody wants to see you're just listed or you're just sold. They want to know you, right? Like, put your own content out there about you, about your life, and it's so much better to just say, look at that cool view I saw today when I was out in Placitas showing houses, instead of, look at me, I'm out showing houses, whatever. But, 25% about you, or about real estate, 75% maybe about you and your life and just normal. People want to know you and connect to you. It's all about that connection.
You would say just kind of like be real?
I would say be real. Very funny.
I would say be intentional.
Yes.
With your social media. Make sure you're putting the content out there that your audience wants to have from you, so that you're being authentic, you're being who you are, but you're intentional with how you're making those posts. You're intentional how you're making those videos, so that you're nurturing your audience so that they know, like, and trust you when it's time to buy or sell their house.
Yeah, to add on to that, people follow you on social media, or they are friends with you or like you on social media because you're a person. Mm-hmm. You're not fake. You're not a bot. You're not a company. They follow you because you're a human, and it's important to humanize everything you do on there and keep it human. So even if it's super general, like you want to promote your just listed and stuff, your under contracts, your solds, make that human. There's a story behind everything, and so yeah, you can post, oh, I just closed on this $1.5 million home. That's amazing. But you can also say, I just helped these people. They found a home. They found their forever home. They now can get that puppy they've been dreaming of, and their mom is able to move in with them now. Like, that's a whole story, and everyone loves seeing that versus
look at me.
Exactly.
I sold a house. Make it about
Exactly.
something else. Absolutely.
And every transaction has a story. I mean, even
Everyone.
if it's as simple as that, the first-time home buyer doesn't know that they can buy a house, especially in this market. Can they afford to buy a house? Is there, a home for them, or do they have to keep on renting?
And this is not scripted, but it's perfectly worked into my next question about storytelling in real estate. So, can you guys all individually explain to me how storytelling can be integrated into your real estate marketing? Are there any pros of doing that, and what exactly are they? Even though we kind of touched on it a little bit, but it's segued perfectly in. Ed, I'm going to start with you again.
I think storytelling is huge. I mean, I started off in film, so storytelling is, it's the way to go. Because if you just put up a testimonial and you put up your client said this about you, if you give an actual story, allow them into what you did step by step, or maybe not even step by step, but just allowing them into a little bit of your world, I think it's huge. Totally
I agree.
But yes,
100%.
Telling a story is huge in real estate, because we do this for the people. We don't really do this for transaction. And there's marketing companies out there that just want the check. But knowing a lot of realtors and seeing how hands-on a lot of them are, is it really boils down to the people. So you create the story for that individual that's purchasing a home, whether it's taking photos, doing the video, putting out intentional content, is you create your story. You can narrate it in any direction you want. So storytelling is huge in what we do.
Yeah, I think that's so important. And like we talked about in the last question, it's all about humanizing it. And everything on social media is, in essence, fake because it's digital. It's not face-to-face. And you want to make everything as face-to-face as possible, as human as possible. We don't live in a cyberpunk world or whatever world we don't ever go outside, but it's getting into that direction. It's moving into a direction where everyone is, here we are with our phones and everything and our computers glued to it all the time. And so everything that you put out there, it has to be as human as possible. It has to be as you as possible. And telling that story is part of making you human online.
Nice. Tracy, Pete?
They covered it, but
Yeah.
the world of advertising, the big brains all around the world that put together all our commercials for the Super Bowl and all those things. Everything is a story, and they put it together very methodically. It's very well thought out. But on the other hand, just do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Make it interesting.
So there have been studies that have shown that the human brain thrives on story. When you start talking facts and figures, they go to the analytical side of your brain, and that's not where anybody wants people to be when it comes to sales or marketing or anything like that. You want them in the emotional side, and story brings them there. It gives them the information that they need, but in an entertaining, engaging way that your brain can comprehend
and can remember. Because like we mentioned, yes, Christian sold a house last week, but Christian helped the first-time home buyer last week. Like there's a big difference in how it stays with you for years and years.
And,
So
and
true.
the audience can relate to that. They can't relate to you selling a house. You sold a house, okay? I'm not a realtor. I don't sell houses, so good for you. But that doesn't help me. But when you tell the story about how you sold that house, and what the problems were throughout the transaction, or even if it's just that they weren't sure they were able to get a house, or they were looking for a specific house, or whatever it is, the audience can see themselves in that story, and they say, "Hey, that's me. That's the person I want to work with because they clearly have the experience to do exactly what I'm looking to do."
Absolutely. And you have to remember too, you don't have to go into detail like, my buyer was John Doe who has 4 kids and bought in this house.
I don't recommend that.
Exactly. You can, even if they know you from social media, they don't want to be shared. You don't have to share any too many details. You can share like he mentioned, like I helped this first time home buyer. There were a lot of offers on there, and there's so few houses, but we made it work, and our amazing lender and our amazing team, we got to the finish line, and I'm so thankful. I didn't go through any details. I didn't really step over any lines, but I shared the story, and everyone's going to remember that.
And the story, you don't have to always just share the story about selling or helping your buyer or seller. Share the stories of your life. Share the story of continuing education and what you've learned in the most recent CE class that can help your audience. Share what you've learned.
There's a lot that we do.
Yeah, and share the process. Maybe even the process of some of the marketing that you're doing. Is behind the scenes. This is what we're doing to help our clients and our audience.
Completely different subject, but thinking about what you just said, a lot of what we do for marketing is sort of our brand and how we take care of clients. You think about, we've got 2 amazing videographers, photographers here who help us make sure we present the best product to our public. So how we present a house is a huge part of marketing, right? Do we stage it? Do we make sure the client knows how to show the house in its best light? So once we get someone in there, it looks great. Are we making sure that even the lowest price house in this market is getting premium photography and floor plans and all the great words that AI creates for the remarks? That that we write for the remarks, right? So a lot of the marketing is what people actually see and feel when they're out and they see properties maybe that we represent. You know, we've had clients come to us wanting us to help them sell their house because they toured a house we had listed, or they saw how we presented things online and they went, you guys are doing it
I
right.
want that person.
Thank you guys for making us look good. But it's, you know, it's not only that, it's teaching our clients how to have the lights on and the blinds and curtains open and the house clean and not have an odor and not have barking dogs in the garage and, you know, all those things. And that's all a part of marketing too, because we're trying to help our sellers net the most, right? And help them on their journey. And so teaching them as well as presenting something in the best possible light, in addition to all the behind the scenes marketing we do, right? Because we market that property then everywhere, right? We do videos and we do social media and we do paid advertising on YouTube or whatever. And so making sure it's great is really, really important.
Yeah. Yeah, and each property has a story too. You know, and how you're marketing it, you're going to market it to a different demographic, different segment of the buyer pool through the marketing story.
Right.
You know, you're going to stage it a certain way. You're going to make sure that it, you know, I mean, if it's a cluttered house, you're telling a story whether you want to or not. You're telling a story that this is going to be a cheap property. You're telling the story that this is going to be a diamond in the rough type of thing. Whereas, you know, if you stage it correctly, you present it properly, you're telling a different story.
And
Yeah.
that kind of ties into it. The photography aspect is, it's not just go in, take photos, and it's done. Is actually looking back, walking the property. Because if we look bad, realtors look bad, and then the sellers look bad. So, to me, every single photo is like an interview, or it's an interview to that broker. It's an interview to us. Because I got a call the other week, a broker telling me so many thank yous, sending me so many thank yous because they won a listing. They went to a listing appointment and they won it over photos because they love the photos that they got. And it was photos I took about a year ago, and I was like, oh, that makes me feel good because I go into every property to tell the story of that property, not just let me take the photo from this corner and then we're done. Because it's anyone can do that, but then again goes back to telling the story.
Wait a
and telling the
minute.
story
Wait a
is-
minute. Not anybody can do that because there's big differences in photography that's done well with an eye and thinking about what you're presenting. So you got to give yourself a pat on the back because honestly, I've seen, you know, camera angles that don't help a house at all actually hurt it, right? And so we've got the best of the best right here helping us present properties the best way possible.
Shameless plug for our photographers.
Absolutely.
Nothing
Links in
shameful
the
about
bio,
it.
folks. So I do want to talk because we're always having an influx of new brokers join our industry. Every day we have new people jumping in. So for the people who may not have been here during COVID, right? We obviously had a completely different marketing strategy while that COVID boom was going on. And by that, I mean, hold on to something and, you know, believe it's going to be okay.
Do we really have to go back there?
We don't have to go back there right now. I know, PTSD. But
Yeah.
today's market, we're definitely seeing, you know, different interest rates. The market is completely changed. What are some strategies that these new brokers can implement to help get their names out there and get some listings? Pete, I'll start with you this time.
I think we've talked a lot of it already.
But like for a new broker,
It's still, you know, the foundation is your SOI. The foundation is building that know, like, and trust. So once you have that, then it's the social media that you're nurturing all of them along and putting the content out there, showing who you are
right?
and why somebody should work with you.
Any other strategies?
I'm gonna
Or are we
jump
just gonna
in here.
recycle?
Come on. So, you know, new broker to get home sellers to work with them. First of all, they should take their cell phone and go A through Z, pull out everybody and put them in a database. Let them all know they're in real estate, first of all, right? So there's no secret to how to get your name out there, right? First, the people that know you, like you, might recommend you, right? So you start marketing to those folks and let them know you're in real estate. But, you hold open houses for people who have houses listed for sale. You don't have to have your own, right? You walk the neighborhood 2 days before with a flyer that you get from your marketing rep with a door hanger, and you walk door to door, and you bring a friend with you, or you bring another realtor with you. You go door to door and you knock on doors and invite people to your open house that's that weekend, right? I mean, that's going to make a huge impression on people. And then you have an open house, and maybe some neighbors come, but they might really be checking you out because they might need to sell next spring. And then you keep in touch with those people. So even if you don't have a database or a sphere, you do, and you can create one, right? I mean, you got to market yourself. And there's more ways to do it than Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, right? It's face to face. That's the best.
Yeah.
I love that, and I always remind everybody that I'm working with that's a new broker is stick to the basics and follow through. You have to keep doing what you're doing. There's reasons why people still do open houses today and still do door knocking today. Yes, it's tedious, but if you put a mentality that, I'm gonna do well, I'm gonna get this done, it'll be fun, but you have to do it, and you have to do all of these steps. So don't end everything just because you don't see results in 2 days. We're working for business 3 months, 6 months, 9 months down the road. So follow through, do the things. And yes, you can do social farming just as much as regular farming, but stick to those basics, time block, and focus on what you're doing. Maybe choose 3 or 4 things that you're gonna 100% do. I'm gonna do open houses, I'm gonna do calling my sphere, and I'm gonna do door knocking, and I'm gonna send 30 direct messages on social media a month. That's 4 things, and as long as you do that, you start it, but you keep doing it, you should start to see some results when you build your sphere, when your entire sphere knows that you're a realtor, and that should help.
Just to piggyback on that, so I've had a lot of times where I probably have done it myself. I do an open house just to get it done, and I don't have an intention that I'm gonna find buyers and sellers through that open house. I'm just like, I got to get this done. My sellers
We've all
want
been
me
there.
to. Yeah, but you've got to go into it that you've got a strategy. You're going to do the whole open house thing, and your mindset when you walk in there is, I'm going to find people who want to buy a house, that want to work with me, and really put it out there, not just do the time, and have a whole strategy. And if you don't know, like the whole open house thing, it's not just that showing up for 2 or 3 hours to hold the house open, right? It's all the things you do to make sure people show up too. Exactly. And your strategy to collect their information and how to connect with them. You don't have them walk in the door and say, hi, how did you hear about it? Or, you want to welcome them in, tell them to look around a little bit, have a whole thing. And if you don't know how to do it, watch from some of the best YouTube stuff out there, right, on how to hold an open house.
How do you identify yourself? Do you identify yourself as a 50% realtor? Do you identify yourself as a professional and a go-to resource for that neighborhood, for your sphere?
Yeah, and to add to that is definitely start off with your network. Text everyone. To this day, after doing it for so many years, I still send out about 10 messages a day, whether it be on social media, whether it be through text. If I get a new client and I reach out to them, who else do you know that I should know? So I definitely follow through is the next one. That's one of the biggest thing that I see a lot of people fall off from is follow through. So as a broker, as a marketing, as photographer, videographer, makeup artist, whatever you may be, is follow through. That's one of the biggest things that I see a lot of people fall off, is because they don't follow through with their clients or friends.
Or follow up.
Or follow up, yes, yeah. Or follow up.
I have to jump in. Even though I asked the question, I have to answer it a little bit and piggyback on what you said a little bit, Ed. The biggest thing I see with realtors is consistency. I work with a bunch of people who have a consistent marketing plan, whether they're sending out postcards, door hangers, but they have an open house. We already have the MLS get sent over. There's a strategy. We all know our roles and what we have to do. following up and being consistent with each time you do that. You know, if I'm going to do this open house, it's not a question of, am I going to, you know, go knock on 50 doors. It's, I'm going to go knock on 50 doors. You know, if I say I'm going to do that, then I'm going to do that. Same thing with social media. If I say I'm going to, you know, DM 30 people every month, well, that's happening every month, you know, and I'm not doing that for any reason. You know, I could be sick in the hospital, but that is still going to go down and happen. You know, follow up, stay consistent. You absolutely can get business just by being consistent with whatever marketing strategy you're doing. Just be consistent with it.
Hold yourself accountable.
Yeah.
Well, you
absolutely.
had a time block too. Like if you're going to do
Time
30
block.
DMs a month, that's a program that you've got in place and you've got it time blocked, right?
Yep. An hour every Tuesday.
I always
No, it's
suggest that's today.
Yesterday.
Oh, yesterday.
No, tomorrow. Excellent. So I'm actually passing. Yeah, I need a time block more. We're actually going to pass the questions over to Pete now, since I've been hogging all the questions. And Pete and myself are both on the YPN committee, and so it's both of our shindig, and can't be crowding all the questions.
So the next one I've got here is, what do you see as the biggest marketing challenge going forward? I mean, you kind of touched on it before of, you know, 2020 and the COVID, that was a completely different market than what we're in now. So what are some of the marketing challenges you see coming up or currently?
I think one of them is where to spend your money and your time. I think there's a lot of ways we can spend money for marketing that maybe are not worth it. And making sure that anything you do has an ROI on it, and how we spend our time and making the business happen.
I love that. And I 100% agree. It's tough when you do a lot of things, or you get into the zone of, I've been doing this for 3 months, I've been doing this for a year, I've been doing this for 5 years, and you're still doing it. And yes, you're getting business, so it's awesome. You're still surviving. You're still doing great. But I think one challenge that not enough of us do is to go back and look at the analytics, if you have them, and see what works, what's continuing to work and what's not working. Because some brokers have been doing, like, for example, they do DMs, door knocking, open houses, and mailers, and sometimes that ROI drops down in one of those categories, but you didn't know because you didn't look at it. You didn't see, like, oh, you know what, I haven't gotten a single client or customer or added anybody to my sphere from X thing that I've been doing. And so it might be good to adjust that time and change that up. And I know I have to admit, I don't do that a lot. I don't do it enough. And it's one of the biggest challenges I have is seeing what works, what isn't working, and adjusting as we need. There's a lot of stuff changing now with AI and so many new technologies out there that it's definitely important for us to remember that there are new things out there. And if you need to adjust, if you need to pivot, then do it.
Yeah, well, to add to that, same thing is pivot. Pivot with anything that you do is pivot. Like we all saw the COVID situation. Marketing was thrown out of the books. A lot of brokers, I heard, well, I could take phone photos and I'd be fine. But then again, your online presence is huge. So pivot. You have to pivot with the market. So what isn't working, again, you have to know your analytics. And that's one thing that I've been doing better at, is looking at the numbers, what's working, what's not working. So it's really knowing your numbers, knowing where you're marketing, not just tossing marketing dollars to anything because it's the next hip thing that's happening. And I mean, even though as photographers, we add a lot of new things to our business, it's not meant for every broker. It's only meant...
Or every listing.
Right, or every listing, of course. There's some of those that need a little TLC, and there's some that are luxury listings that require the whole 9 yards. So it's really just pivoting with the market and knowing where it's going to shift. And I feel like the COVID situation definitely made a lot of brokers pivot, and us as marketers is pivot a lot. So knowing your numbers and knowing where you're at and what's working.
Yeah, and I would say to double down on what's working and not get distracted by some of the other things that are out there. Going back to the ROI, how do you track that, the ROI of your marketing efforts?
Well, a database of where does your business come from when it closes, right? You should have a database that shows and what the source was so that you can track it. I mean, sorry, I guess I thought that was simple.
CRMs are huge, people.
A CRM.
Have a CRM
It can
system
be
implemented.
it can be a spreadsheet, a Google sheet, it can be, anything, but just something to keep track and have something to track it.
I love
We innately know too where our business comes from, but it's good to double check it too sometimes.
I love to track. I love numbers. So whether it's tracking Instagram followers for a client or tracking how many messages I've sent out from my CRM, having all that data I like to see. So when you have like she said, when you have a closing come in that says their source was from a Sphere phone call or they're from your Sphere, then you know that whatever you're doing that involves your Sphere, whether it's those Facebook messages or those happy birthday cards or those calls every week, then you know that's a tool that's absolutely working. So if you do a little bit of tracking of everything, you should be able to find that, track it down to where that energy is being spent.
Can I switch the subject again?
I want to jump in real quick.
Okay.
I've been quiet for a while. I'm back.
Shocker.
Well, and for me, the whole ROI thing, I was very curious as to what people are interested in terms of what I can bring, realtors and lenders, of what I can bring to the table to help and assist them with their marketing. So a resource that I've employed recently is Linktree. I know everyone probably already knows about that. And then there are absolutely other landing pages out there that do the exact same thing. This is just the one I came across first, I don't know. It's probably the old person version now.
Careful,
I'm probably out of
careful.
date. Oh, sorry.
There's only one of us older than the rest here.
Oh, how about that? So,
Busted.
but with that platform, I can have multiple different links to either my Facebook, my Instagram, all of my social media, my website, my something for people to reach out to me, so I can really gauge on what people are interested in that I'm putting out there, and I can have it turn into a QR code and give it out to a whole bunch of people. And if they're actually interested in me and what I have to offer, I can see if they scanned it, when they scanned it, where they scanned it, and what they're clicking on. All kinds of data-driven decisions for me. So that's a really neat tool. I highly recommend everyone check it out. It's like less than $10 or something like that, but it's made me completely reevaluate everything I send out to people and how I interact with people to be, okay, I want more clicks. I want more people to engage with my posts, all that stuff. So, sorry.
So just to mention, one of the things that's great about that is it makes you look at all those links and make sure you've updated them. Because a lot of times we set stuff up when we're new to real estate or new to our career, and then we don't keep it updated. So you want to make sure that all those links work. Mm-hmm. I was going to change the subject completely again.
Go for it.
Welcome to our world. So it's that time of year where there's a lot of holidays coming up, right? And a lot of us realtors and other people do events or giveaways, right? So we've got pie days, we've got breakfast with Santas, we've got photos with Santa, we've got get your pets photo taken, or a toy drive or a food drive, and we're engaging with our clients, right? Mm-hmm. But I think it's important for us to remember that that actual event really isn't our market, what we're marketing. We're marketing that we're going to call people and invite them and have a phone conversation with them. What we give away or what we collect is not really the whole thing. It's that connecting with the people. So we're going to go ahead, and if we're going to have an event, right, we should make sure to use that to actually call people and invite them, because it's the easiest way to call your sphere, right? Mm-hmm. You have something to invite them to. So it's remembering in our world that it's the giving the call, and then for the people who show up, call them afterwards and thank them. And then those conversations are real and they're easy. And that's what those events are really all about. I mean, yeah, we like to collect food we're collecting food for some schools in Los Lunas, and our agents brought tons of food in because they loved it. But the students in Los Lunas won't know we brought all that food. It's just going. But the Santa photos we're doing in December, we're using that to call people and call them afterwards and thank them, and we get to see them. So it's really not the event, it's what we do around it to connect with people.
I think that's awesome, especially, I know it was a few questions ago, but new brokers and new to the industry, sometimes it's hard finding that content and that what to say, because we've all been there when we have to call 50 people and I'm like, I don't know what to say. Like, hello, it's Happy Friday. Every office out there, there's so many things that are going on. There's so many events, and that's a great way to have content to make those calls, make those messages, and make sure to ask. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of help that you can get in your office, and so I definitely agree. That's a great thing that we can all be doing, even if you're experienced.
I just think sometimes the whole pie giveaway gets lost in that we're giving away pies versus this is our opportunity to connect. You know, those clients of ours that choose to come and pick up a pie, they could have driven to Costco and bought their $6.99 pie or $5.99 pie and not driven 20 miles to come to our office and see us. It's about the connection. We got to remember that.
It's dozens of touches that you wouldn't have made any without that event or without that content.
Yep.
And as I said earlier, it goes back to the people.
Yep.
This is what we do it for.
Yep.
Right.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's perfect content to put on your social media too, to invite them, to thank them, to, behind the scenes of the event. And people are always asking, what do I post on social media? What do I put out there for a newsletter? What do I put out there for all this content? You've got stuff. You just need to be documenting it and sharing it.
Just do it, as Tracy said.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, kind of going into that too a little bit with social media. I mean, it's such a wide and largely used platform for people all across the world. I mean, you can post on there for free and have it reach 1 billion people if you have the right kind of content in there. So speaking to that, what kind of strategies should people be doing and implementing to stay ahead of market trends, or marketing trends? I recently saw this video of these realtors, and it was this trendy audio and this trendy style that they were doing in this real estate video. So how do they come up with that? How do you go around and you just
Wait. Isn't that the rip off and duplicate method? You see somebody
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's what that is.
That's right.
Isn't that what that TikTok's all about?
Well,
You see somebody doing it and then you can recreate it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be that original, right? If it caught your attention and it's fun, go for it, right?
I think that's awesome, and something to point out. Those trends and those market trends and stuff like that, those are great. Especially, this is more social media specific, are great for getting your name out there to new people, and they're great for there's your sphere, there's people that know of you, know what you do, and then the outside bubble is kind of a little bit of everybody. And doing those trends, doing a lot of that stuff is great for expanding that bubble just a little bit with a little bit more people, a little more eyes on you, which is great. And you have to remember that is one of the things you should be doing, because yes, it's great to have more eyes on you, but you also have to remember to maintain your sphere. There's two circles that are before you get to everybody in the United States or everybody in planet Earth. And you have to maintain those people. And yes, the trends are awesome. Yes, that's all nice. But a lot of times that doesn't touch all of those people. And so I think it's important to remember to stick with those basics, like the messages, being you, the posts, the stories, the comments, the engagement, everything like that.
Not get too caught up in whatever the trend is. You still need to be putting out content that's you, not just you dancing or you doing some trending audio or whatever the hot new thing is that may not even be who you are, but you're doing it because you think that that's what's going to get you the most views.
Absolutely.
I think the intention behind it is they want to go viral, right? Is everyone wants to go viral because that's what TikTok has pushed everyone to. Is even I hear from my kids, I want to go viral. I want to go viral. Do film me doing this. But it's the intent on how you're doing it. If I've had a video once get posted and got 100,000 of views, and I was like, what happened? I wasn't planning for that to happen, but my intent wasn't for that to happen. It was just putting content out, and you just never know what's really going to resonate with people. So
I agree. And I think it's important too to remember what your focus is. Like there's a lot of people that go viral consistently, but that's their focus. Their focus is to do the trends, and their focus is to get brand deals, and to make money from social media. My focus is to sell real estate. So yes, I love doing those. I like expanding that bubble, and it will be good because that's nationwide referrals, which is an awesome way to have supplemental income. But my goal is to make sure that every single person who follows me knows that I am their go-to realtor, and I'm the best realtor for them. And that's what my focus is. So everything else is kind of just a little extra. It's extra content and that extra things that you can post, so you don't go 3 weeks without posting anything. But remember your focus, and if that's your focus, nationwide referrals, then I say do it. Do all the trends and become a TikTok celebrity.
Well, and there's viral, and then there's another concept called viral for me. And so it's what of my content is going to get the most engaging and reaction from my audience. Because again, not everybody is looking for a worldwide or nationwide audience. They're looking for more of people who are living here or want to live here.
I agree. I think another thing to add to that is there's so many different ways to market. I know a lot of realtors that are friends of mine do some amazing content online, and I always have to remind myself, and we have to remind each other, that is doing a lot of these trends kind of markets to other realtors. And is our goal to market to other realtors, or is our goal to market to potential buyers and sellers? Which I think is sometimes where we get a little sidetracked, which is not bad. It's good to market to other realtors because, again, referrals are an amazing way to supplement. But I'm a realtor at heart, and my focus is to help the community buy and sell.
Yeah, and sometimes the content probably isn't what you might want your client to see. I've seen some things that I thought, I don't know that I'd want to work with that, right?
Let me check my feed really quick.
Just kidding. Sorry, Christian. I didn't mean to call you out. Just kidding.
Yeah, there's all different kinds of stuff out there that everyone can utilize and implement. So unless anyone has anything else that they want to tack on and include into this discussion before we wrap things up, speak now or forever hold your words.
I think it's important to everything that I push is find where your focus is and stay consistent. Keep going down that direction. You may not see results right away, and that's okay. Like we mentioned, if you put a house under contract right now, you're not going to see anything from that for weeks, if not months. So just like your energy in marketing, start now and keep going so you can see results later, and don't get discouraged. And if you do need a pivot, do it. We all pivot in life because everything changes all the time. But stay focused. If you need to pivot, and reach out. There's a lot of people out here. Like at this table, there are so many resources, and everybody has different eyes, different ideas on what you can do. I know if you ask Pete a question, all four of us would probably have a similar but different answer, and we'd probably end up getting you to the same end result. But everybody has different ways of thinking, different techniques and stuff like that. So reach out for help. There's plenty of help out there.
Yeah, stay consistent. That's the best thing we can leave you with, is stay consistent.
Yeah, that's a big thing. Focus on the basics, foundation, and stay consistent with it.
And as Tracy said, just do it.
Yeah.
Just get started.
All right. And on that note, we'll wrap things up. Thank you guys so much for attending our 2023 November YPN podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Have a wonderful day.